Hey, it's Tom from Inspiration Metalworks, and in this week's video, we're gonna start playing with our new X-Carve.
All right, so we've got the new X-Carve set up, and I am getting a quick education in using this software here called Easel, which is the Inventables provided software for both drawing and managing your cuts. First thing I did was I made sure that I had the right material in place. I chose the material type, which today is MDF. I chose the bit I'm going to use. We're just going to use a standard 1/8 inch bit for this one, right? There are different kinds of bits in here you can use. In fact, you can even do as much as having two different bits, so you could have a finish bit, like a detail bit. But we're just going to use an 1/8 inch bit. And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to draw a circle, right? And I know this circle, you can drag it, right? So you can take a corner and drag and resize. You can reshape it, right? I've done both of these so far, but what we're going to do, I want a circle that is 6 inches in diameter. And you can even set your positioning in here, right? But I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And yeah, that's the first part of this here. So let's leave this for now. We know we're going to do more, but let's just leave this for right now. The next thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center this on my material here. So I don't know if you noticed, edit, and then center to material. I just did that just for grins because I'm trying to learn the software. I would typically not do that and try and get as much out of the material as I can. Next, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit. They provide some apps in here and some really cool generators in here, and the one that I used is this Veroni generator. I thought it was really cool. So you have to select the shape first, and then you to it, and then you can come in here and just say, well, how many pieces do I want? I think I did 14 on the one that I did earlier, right? Something like that. And then you can even adjust how big the branches are. So I think I did 1.5. And you click import, and it automatically creates this for you, right? Now, one thing that I did is I made all of these fills, right? So I went through one at a time. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. I just don't know what it is yet. And that's what I'm trying to point out, is that there's a lot of little things to learn when getting a new machine. Even though I've run big CNC machines before, this is new to me. Alright, so I also know, I should have done this all at the same time, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to say, let's just go 1/8 of an inch deep. Right? Now I'm going to go to my outline, and I'm going to tell it to, hey, you got to cut this whole thing. And note, what's really nice about this is it automatically, by default, uses tabs. Now, I don't know if it remembers your last setting or not, but by default, it uses tabs. I'm going to say 3 tabs. Since it's circular, 3 is plenty. Probably can cut down how wide they are. And the height, 80 thousandths is okay. It should be fine. I'm not certain yet just how accurate this machine is. It's pretty close, but I'm not sure yet. So that's there. You can actually grab these and drag them and move them around if you want as well, right? So you can move those the islands, the little tabs where you need it. At this point, now we're ready to go. Now I do have the Pro version of X-Carve, so I went ahead, or the Easel software. So I went ahead and did that because there's some tools in there that I really liked. But at this point now we can zoom in. We'll move around a little bit, and what I'm doing, I'm using my mouse to scroll in, and then right-clicking to drag around. If you left-click, which is your normal clicking for a right-handed person, it will rotate, right? So you can get an idea of what's going to happen. And you notice there's a part here that's not going to get cut because the bit I'm using is too big for it, right? So it gives you some feedback in there. Other things that you can do is you can simulate, and it's going to determine how long it's going to take to cut. You can play back your simulation and the whole thing. So at this point, it's pretty straightforward. You click carve, and it walks you through a menu. Now my machine's not on right now, so I've got to go turn it on. It walks you through a menu, and or through a wizard that preps you for setting your work coordinate system, making sure that your Z height is accurate for the tool that you're using. I did get the probe, which has made it really simple, especially for switching tools around. And you're ready to go. So let's switch to some video that I shot the other day when I was actually making this little part.
So overall, my thoughts on the X-Carve are generally positive. It's a great setup. It took me about a day to really get into it and get moving with things. But you know what? It didn't take long. I mean, I know I've got experience running CNC machines, so I kind of understood what a work coordinate system was and what tools are and things like that. But you know, the machine pretty much just worked out of the box. Assembly was fine. There were a couple of things that weren't, the directions said wiring should be one way, and that was incorrect. But I think that's been pointed out plenty of times on the forum. So there's easy ways to find the answers to that. Otherwise, it's just worked, right? It's been good. I've been very happy with it. I've already made quite a few things since this original video was shot, and it's working great. So I'm happy about it. Me being what I would term, at least in the X-Carve, being an advanced user, I'm going to look into some alternates to Easel. I really like Easel. It's very simple to use. It's one of the reasons why I got up to speed so quickly on PlasmaCam, was that simple interface to use in Design Edge. Same thing with Easel. Very easy to use. Didn't take long, and I know my wife is going to really do well with this. So I'm very happy with that. I'm probably going to look into using Fusion 360 for my designs a little bit more, but also in controlling cut paths and which tools we're using and things like that. On top of that, I'll probably look into using some alternate software for controlling the machine called UGS, which is Universal G-Code Sender. It's supposed to do a pretty good job of giving you a bit more control. For guys that are used to having things like Mach 3 or Path Pilot, or FANUC, or the Haas controls or things like that, right? So you'll recognize it a whole lot more at that point. So I'm going to look into some advanced things you can do with the X-Carve, but you don't need to do that. Out of the box, it just works. So if you'd like to find out a little bit more about the X-Carve, I would recommend you go over and see David Burrell's recent series of videos. So it's Neo 7 CNC here on YouTube. He just did a 3-part series on the X-Carve review, and he's had an older version of it as well. So he did a great job of comparing the improvements they have made over time. Right? So exact same setup as what I've got, and he did a great review on that. So I recommend you go over there. Lastly, I want to say thanks to my patrons, everybody on Patreon who's helping out. The Barzy Industrial Summer Bash for 2018 was just recently announced. I believe the date is June 23rd. We'll have to go back and double check that. As many of you know, I support the bash by providing the live stream. Patrons help me do that. Right? So for those of you who happen to watch that live stream, that 8-hour long live stream that I do, It's a way that you can help give back a little bit. Every little bit helps. I do appreciate that. But with that, let's wrap that up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you again soon.